Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of the Wrestling Forum. This is the recap of WWE's Extreme Rules, the horror show. It was live and pre-recorded on WWE Network. Most of the event was from the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, except for one particular match. It was out in the Everglades, somewhere in Florida, is what I heard that they did for the swamp match. But we'll get into that a little bit later on tonight. We're just gonna dive right in, gentlemen. We started it off with the pre-show match, Kevin Owens versus Murphy. Kevin Owens wins the match in 8 minutes and 55 seconds. But we go into the main show, starting off with the tag team titles, the SmackDown tag team titles on the line in a tables match. It was Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro versus the New Day, the winners of the bout, in 10 minutes and 25 seconds, and new SmackDown Tag Team Champions Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. I can't believe this. I cannot believe they took the belts off the New Day. But hey, I'm happy. Nakamura and Cesaro winning the titles. If you remember, in our preview video, none of us predicted this. We all said New Day were going to win. We all got this wrong. We all get egg in the face on this one. Nakamura basically, I'll say this. Cesaro takes Florio and Michael Bullock and gives him the Cesaro swing for your idiotic mistake. And then I get blasted with the Kinshasa by Nakamura. Because you know I'm a Nakamura mark. How dare he probably is yelling me in Japanese because no speak English. Well, guess what? Speak this. You guys are new tag team champions on SmackDown Live. Congratulations. 3 stars is the rating for the match. And Anthony Flavor, I'm gonna give it to you in the immortal words of Gorilla Monsoon. History has been made.
Well, I'll tell you what, Meth. History was indeed made. You're absolutely right. And I just got the goosies because you know how much I love when you do that. I agree with the rating, 3 stars. It may not have been as good as Owens and Murphy in the pre-show, but it was the second high-energy match of the night that exceeded expectations. It would have been better with more of a coherent story, but if the superstars can bring a reasonable amount of energy to gimmick matches like these, the results are typically very good. Cesaro and Nakamura have been a solid tag team for months now and probably deserve a run with the gold, but one has to wonder what tag teams are there to work with them. Besides the New Day, Jimmy Uso is hurt, the Forgotten Sons were tweeted out of relevancy, and former champs Morrison and Miz are heels. Expect this to be but the first chapter of this particular rivalry, if only because there is nowhere else for either team to go.
There is another situation.
Yes.
There's a Money in the Bank out there. Now I know, hold.
I heard about this.
I know a lot of people will be saying, wait a minute, Mikey, no, this can't be right. That is meant for the world title. Not necessarily. There's never been a rule that's implicating that it could be for a world title. Remember, the Money in the Bank has the statute of the Money in the Bank is that you can challenge for any title you see fit. If they want to play that card, Otis and Tucker of Heavy Machinery could very possibly cash in Money in the Bank and an opportunity at the SmackDown Tag Team titles, which would be a great move because it would be unprecedented. Because remember, this would open a new door to the Money in the Bank that you don't necessarily have to challenge for the world title with the Money in the Bank. You could go for any belt and that would be a great move for WWE, and that would put all the champions on notice, and that would be that unpredictability factor that I know, Florio, you preach about. But go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, no, no. That's more than fine. Um, I do agree with the rating. It is a solid 3 stars. A solid way to start. A very surprising outcome. We all thought that the New Day were gonna get the win back here, but no. Cesaro and Nakamura, and you heard what Cesaro said after the match. He said, "Overlook no more." I mean, those two guys have been criminally underutilized, and Cesaro now becomes a 7-time tag team champion, and now that Nakamura is a tag team champion, he can claim Triple Crown. He's got Triple Crown status because he's been the United States champion. He's been the Intercontinental champion. Now he can now call himself a SmackDown tag team champion. He just needs a world title, and he's got himself a Grand Slam. But with the way they've been booking him lately, I don't think he's ever going to be a world champion. I would love for him to get it, but we'll see. But anyways, solid 3 stars. Congratulations to Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Big win for them. No doubt about it. So, Michael Bullock, come on in, Phenom. And like MF said, history was indeed made here tonight.
Yes, indeed. History was indeed made. I mean, I was shocked as well when I saw the outcome. I mean, I was like, no way. I mean, they actually went, as you would like to say, guys, with the unpredictability. And yeah, I mean, we all thought the New Day was going to go out there and retain the titles, but no, he actually pulled the trigger. So 3 stars is my rating as well. I mean, this was definitely a good way to start off the pay-per-view. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Cesaro and Nakamura now that they're the champs. I mean, do they continue their feud with the New Day? I mean, like you said, they're the only face team that's that they could feud with, because with who they have on SmackDown, I mean, I just don't see any other team that's possible challenging them. So we'll just have to wait and see. But you do bring up a fair point, Fletch, about the Money in the Bank. So who knows? Maybe heavy machinery could use it on them. I mean, like with Otis winning that Money in the Bank. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. So there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on.
All right, next up we had was the women's SmackDown title on the line. Bayley versus Nikki Cross. Bayley successfully defends the title at 12 minutes and 20 seconds. Anthony Florio, you lead off.
3.25 stars. I was going to give it 3.5, but the ending rubbed me the wrong way. But the storytelling in this one was off the charts. From Bayley using Nikki Cross's ring apron spot, which was originally implemented by the great David Finlay, against her, to Cross recalling Bayley's old taunts moments later from Nice Bayley. There were more than a few clever callbacks. The strength of this one, though, was Bayley's mounting frustration with her inability to put the game Nikki Cross away. She was so confident that she would roll over her challenger, and when it did not happen, she grew more and more concerned, all the way to the point that Sasha Banks had to cheat on her behalf for her to retain her title. And it would be interesting to see later in the night if Bayley would be there for Sasha to that extent, or if the SmackDown Women's Champion is not quite as invested in the friendship as she is in the boss's contributions to her own success. But in hindsight, this was a 3.5-star match, but I'm deducting it because of the finish. I'm going to give it 3.25 stars, but it was still a very good effort, though. That's all there is to say on that. So, nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, in the immortal words of Luigi PS3, Bayley and Sasha, you cheated.
Yeah, they definitely cheated. I mean, especially Bayley. I mean, you talk about a cheap way to retain your title. I mean, what an absolute joke she is. I mean, but I do agree. It's a 3.25-star match. I mean, it was 3.5, but the ending, as I've already said, rubbed me the wrong way. But yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more to say about it. So, Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, 3.25 stars. Solid match. Good battle. Good title match. And yeah, I mean, I get it. I understand why a lot of people are about the ending, but again, this is what's the strength of Bailey and Sasha Banks all about. This is what they've been doing since the very beginning. This is what they've been doing to run SmackDown. Look, cheap tactics, cheap victories, backdoors, whatever you want to call it. It is what it is, and that's how it went down. All right. Now we gotta get into something that I know rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. MVP was supposed to fight Apollo Crews for the United States title. However, the winner of the bout, via a forfeit, and new United States Heavyweight Champion MVP. Now, I didn't get to see this, so I need clarification. Anthony Arbolic, you gotta need to clarify me. Did he sell out, or did something happen to Cruz that basically caused him to lose the belt?
No. Remember, I'm the voice of Ross, so I gotta take this one.
Then it's all yours, Floyd. What the hell happened?
I'll tell you what the hell happened. Tom Phillips on commentary said that Apollo Crews apparently did not pass his pre-match physical, whatever that means. So read into that what you will. Because of, you remember Bobby Lashley attacked him weeks ago, and I guess they were selling the injury or something. I don't know. But Apollo Crews has not been on TV for weeks. If you take the excuse at face value that he was hurt weeks ago and unable to compete, you have to wonder why WWE continued to advertise him up to this point. Now, if his absence is related to of course, our long national nightmare that's probably never going to end anytime soon, COVID-19 pandemic, again, you have to wonder why they continue to advertise him, knowing full well he would be unable to appear. While that's questionable, even shady booking, the silver lining in this is that it allows MVP to continue building heat and enjoy the career renaissance he has found here in 2020. Now, MF, in all honesty, I do not consider MVP the official United States Heavyweight Champion yet. I don't.
Same here.
We need more. We need more of an explanation. We need more face value in this. So MVP can say, "Oh, I'm the champ," all you want. You're basically you're channeling your inner Hercules from an early Saturday Night's Main Event episode. You're saying, "I am the champion. I am the champion. I am the champion." Wrong, pal. You're not the champion.
But wait, Florio, I hate to be the bearer of bad news on this one. He technically does have the United States title in his possession, and if the title is via a forfeit because of medical condition, here's the problem. No, but here's the problem. Apollo Crews would be unable to defend the title in 30 days. And if you're going to go there, unfortunately, the belt goes to MVP. So technically, yes, it is right. It is official. Montel Vontavious Porter is now once again the United States Heavyweight Champion, which I think this would be number 3 for him. This would be the third time, a hat trick for MVP as U.S. Champion. But obviously that means Cruz is eligible for a rematch. But if they're going to hold him off TV because of the COVID, I mean, what a perfect way to put nuclear heat on MVP than awarding him the belt on a silver platter. Just like when Eric Bischoff awarded Triple H the World Heavyweight title. What did he do to deserve the belt? But they awarded him the title anyway. So, technically, right now, you can say whatever you want, but MVP's your champion on Monday Night Raw.
For now. We're going to have to wait. We will have, I mean, you know this is going to be one of two count them, 2 interesting hooks.
Oh yeah.
Monday Night Raw tomorrow night.
Oh, we're gonna get into the other one soon, and we'll get into that. Yeah.
And you know Michael Bullock's gonna go full on Byron Saxton about it. And
I know.
I'm gonna join him on it.
Okay. I.
It's inner phenom mode. Forget Byron Saxton mode. It's inner phenom mode.
Okay.
I'll handle Saxton for this.
Okay. All right, guys. Calm down. Relax. We'll get there. Yeah. Okay.
But unfortunately, we have a very, very big piece of nasty business here. Very nasty.
Yeah. We got nasty. Eye for an eye. It was Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins wins the match in 1805. He got to poke the eye out of Rey Mysterio. And before everybody starts jumping, before everybody starts freaking out, apparently it was CGI'd. That's not Rey's real eye. Relax, guys. It was a CGI effect. It's a Hollywood effect that they normally do. I think the last time I've ever seen an actual eyeball, like that type of effect or something like that, I think I gotta go back to like the early 90s in the movie Demolition Man. That was... yeah. Mike Bullock, I'm sorry to do this to you, brother, but you gotta lead off on this.
Oh, I don't envy you, Bullock.
All right. Man, I don't even know how to rank this match. I mean, it was just tough to watch, guys. I mean, I know it's CGI. I get that. But just the thought of it is just, ugh. It's enough to make me cringe. So I
You don't have to put a rating on this. You don't have to put a rating on this.
Just take it. Just take it. I really don't know how to rank this.
That's fine. We don't have to officially rank it. Well, we do have to rank it because it was a match. Rollins was the winner, and because we actually did get an outcome. This was as gory, as disturbing of a match I've ever seen in my life, and I will openly admit that. This was easily, I could go as far to call this maybe 3 stars, 3.5. I mean, it was a good psychology match. It was good storytelling. The moment that happened was graphic enough and disturbing enough that I think we all kind of were like, that's not PG, that's not PG, oh no! And I know if we were doing the commentary for this match, oh god, I don't even know how Florio would even be able to do this, because this would be your match, Anthony, because of the fact this is Monday Night Raw, so you would have been the lead commentator for this match. I don't even know how you would even have done this.
Monday Night Raw, and it's a big pay-per-view. How I wish this could have been a major event, because when we do our major events,
it's all me.
It's all you. You don't just do SmackDown, you do Raw too.
I do Raw too. So, yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know how to... I mean, 3.5 is my official rating. It's just, like we said, we knew this was going to be horrible. We knew it was going to be scary. We knew it was going to be graphic. We knew it was not going to be PG. Technically, they lived up to the hype. And I gotta give credit to Rey Mysterio for his acting. Like, oh my god, he got shot or something like that. And just the look of that eyeball, the CGI eyeball, just, oh god, no, honey, no. In the immortal words of Jim Rome, no. Florio, go.
How do I follow that? I don't know, but I'm going to do my best. The action was great. I'm actually going to be a little more lenient for this one. I'm going to give this between 3.5 to 4. I mean, Now, had this been a straight up no disqualification match, this would have been a banger and one of the better matches on pay-per-view this year. Handcuffed by the gimmick, though, it featured uneven psychology, such as Mysterio looking for his typical lucha libre offense in a match where he should be targeting the eye of his opponent. He did eventually, but it took a while to get there. Still, the in-ring aspect of the match was infinitely better than it had any right to be, with the stipulation hovering overhead like it did. It does deserve credit for one thing. It was not nearly as ridiculous or over the top as it could have been. WWE kept the finish relatively rooted in reality, rather than relying on CGI or gimmicking things up to such an extent that the finish lost its impact. One thing that made no sense, though, Rollins being so stricken by illness by the effects of his actions when he essentially did the same darn thing to set this whole ordeal up. You notice he vomited after the match. You noticed it. But hopefully his reaction ties into his character going forward, because that may very well be the silver lining of this whole thing. So, brutal indeed, but I'm going to give it 3.5 to 4 for the effort. So, I just hope we never see a match like that again. So, I don't know what else there is to say. So with that being said, MF, sound the alarms. It's rant time.
Yeah, okay. I guess I'm gonna have to lead it off, and thank God I get to lead off on this before people gets thrown into the birdie boiler tonight. So
Or the floodgates get broken open.
yeah, so I will set this up, and then we'll go from there. So it was Sasha Banks versus Asuka for the Raw Women's title. Now, it ends in a false finish. Now, okay, here's what happened. Asuka does the mist, and it blinds the referee. The referee got blinded by the mist. Down he goes. All of a sudden, excuse me, I apologize. Bayley comes out in a referee's shirt and counts down the pin for Sasha Banks to become the Raw Women's Champion. Now, there was no official announcement. There was no, I don't know if there was a bell or not. However, this decision is left in limbo. Nobody really knows how this is ended. Going into the match, this match was almost in fight of the night territory. You can even call this 3.5 stars. But because it's a false finish, it's an automatic NA. We can't decide. The one thing that's coming out of this, and I know that Anthony and Michael Bullock are really furious, is because it looks like Sasha Banks has captured the Raw Women's title because of Bayley. But the thing is, we don't know the official word. There hasn't been no word by WWE. Nobody has said anything at the moment. We're only going under the assumption that Sasha has captured the title. If she has indeed captured the title, then 2 SmackDown women now captures all the gold in WWE. That would be a first in any company. We've never had Sasha Banks and Bayley have 3 titles respectively in their camp. The Raw Women's title, Sasha Banks. SmackDown Women's title is Bayley, and they're both the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Now, this is Anthony Floyo's worst nightmare, because a SmackDown talent just took the Raw Women's title. But even for the SmackDown guy, I don't think this decision will stand. And obviously, if I'm the SmackDown guy, I'll be like, please WWE, let this decision stand. Let Sasha win the belt. But knowing what happened, knowing the finish, even in my own good faith and conscience, Sasha doesn't deserve the title. So, now what happens? There's a number of scenarios that this could go. Number one, they let the decision stand and Sasha is the champion. Obviously, that'll send everybody into in the tiki torches, and the pitchforks will be out, no doubt. Decision two: they stripped Sasha of the belt. They would put the title up for grabs, and basically the belt would become basically null and void. So basically, no champion, and the belt could be whatever. Or number three, which is very possible, they would do a rematch, another title match between Sasha and Asuka tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw to decide who the champion is. I mean, there's a number of ways that this can go. So obviously, this is a no rating. Anthony Florio, it's all yours.
Yeah. And I got to give you kudos, MF, because you easily could have gone heel MF. You could have easily gone Corey Graves or what have you. You could have gone Cheshire Cat mode and say, "We got all the gold." Yeah. What do you say to that, Mr. Raw? But I'm glad that you being good old MF on this one. I'm very proud of you for that. But anyways, oh man. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you all what really should have happened. The referee for the match, whose name is Eddie Orengo. I know the man. Eddie Orengo was the referee for this match, and he was the one who got blinded by Asuka. And for me, what he should have done was he should have called for the belt right then and there, and he should have called for the. He probably could have had. He probably could have disqualified Asuka, or he probably could have. He might have disqualified Asuka, but then again, Sasha probably would have been in line for a rematch because if a challenger wins a title match by DQ, they're usually entitled to another match. But it's very messy indeed. But here's the thing, though. Remember I said there were two hooks for Raw tomorrow night? The first one being the U.S. situation? Well, here's the other hook, and the bigger hook. I think this is obviously a ratings ploy, because let's face it, Raw's ratings have been in the garbage as of late. And oh boy. But before I get into that, this match, the wrestlers involved, and the fans watching at home deserved way better than that convoluted BS finish. As usual, WWE completely overthought things to the extent that the finish severely hampered the overall quality of a match that was heading towards Fight of the Night and maybe even Match of the Year candidacy. We get it. Bayley and Sasha cheat. To overbook and muddy the waters in this manner did a great disservice to two women having a hell of a wrestling match. There was nothing on this show or any of the post-WrestleMania events that matched what they did from a quality standpoint. Then the finish. There will likely be a rematch, maybe as soon as Raw tomorrow night, but Sasha and Asuka will have a difficult time finding the same flow they had tonight. Sure, from a storyline standpoint, it fit, but there were better ways to accomplish the same thing, including, but not limited to, literally anything else. This was probably heading towards 4 to 4.25 star status, but MF is absolutely right. This is most definitely a no rating. This is an automatic NA, no rating, what have you. But it doesn't matter what the so-called golden role models say. Sasha Banks, sweetheart, you are not the Raw Women's Champion. You are not. And God forbid, if they stand by this decision, you talk about Bayley and Sasha being impossible to deal with. MF is going to be impossible to deal with. Because think about it. My worst nightmare becomes a reality. A SmackDown talent holding a Raw championship. Do you have any idea how sick to my stomach that would make me?
Huh, you think you're sick to your stomach?
I'd be throwing up. I'd be throwing up just like Seth Rollins did tonight, and then some. I don't know, but all I know is this is an NA. I don't believe for a minute they're gonna let this stand. I really don't. I think what's gonna happen is I think there's gonna be a rematch, and then I think that's when Asuka should get her comeuppance, and she'll get her win. So she'll hold on to the belt, and then we can maybe start planting the seeds for that rumored Asuka Kairi Sane program. And then we'll see about the so-called golden role models. But rest assured, friends, Sasha, regardless of what those two rubberneck nitwits have to say, Sasha Banks is not the Raw Women's Champion. Period. And a quotation, and a statement, and a discussion. Bullock, hit me with that Byron Saxton one time.
Yeah, I mean, this was just such a good match, and then WWE had to literally do this. I mean, how in the I mean, if WWE lets this decision stand, I mean, first off, number one, WWE, that so-called golden role model Bailey is not a freaking licensed referee. Let me get that message to you, sweetheart, and I use that term loosely. You are not a licensed referee. Who in the freaking hell do you think you are that you could just take the referee shirt, put it on you, and get the pin for your bestie? And like you said, by golly, if they let this stand, I swear somebody better get me a freaking aspirin, because I'm gonna have to deal with these two bitches brag and boast holding all the gold. You're no golden role models. You two are nothing more than a bunch of golden bitches. And I hope someday, excuse me, and you know what? I'm just going to say this right now. I'm calling on every single women's wrestler from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT to target these two so-called golden role models. Please, golden role models, my ass. And I agree with you, Florio. As far as I'm concerned, Asuka, is still the Raw Women's Champion as far as I'm concerned. And Sasha, you are not the Raw Women's Champion.
Oh,
if
my
you and
brother,
Bailey
testify.
And if you two got a problem with it, why don't you come meet me home and we can discuss it face to face?
Get your
like a real man would.
Why don't you go get some facts and come back and see Bullock? How about that?
Exactly. Get some facts and come back and see me. Because if you don't, you two are nothing more than a bunch of liars. Period. And the quotation and the statement. And as I said in the messenger, go Sasha and Bailey, you can go to hell. Straight to hell. Just like Tony Schiavone said when Hulk Hogan turned heel that night at Back to the Beach. Nothing more to say. Let's go.
All right, so with that said, we'll just move right along, guys. Next up we had was the WWE title match, as it was Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler, and it was under Extreme Rules, selected by Dolph Ziggler, but there was a caveat in this match. A little bit of stacking of the deck, as I would say. If Drew McIntyre, it was Extreme Rules for Dolph Ziggler. Basically, Ziggler got the advantage. He could use all the weaponry, anything else. But if Drew McIntyre got counted out or was disqualified, he would lose the WWE title to Dolph Ziggler. Well, it didn't matter because the winner of the bout in 16 minutes and 3 seconds and still the WWE champion Drew McIntyre. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
I was not worried. I was not worried at all. I really wasn't. I had a feeling he was going to find a way. He always finds a way. That's what Drew McIntyre does. And just like with the Mysterio and Rollins match, if they had made this match a straight-up Extreme Rules match for both men, this would have been awesome. You know it would have. But I'm gonna give this the same rating for that one. I'm gonna give this 3.5 to 4. The psychology behind this one elevated it. Ziggler pulling out everything he possibly could, stacking every deck imaginable against McIntyre, only to fail at the end of a Claymore kick, was an easy-to-follow story that helped with the overall quality. This was Ziggler's best performance in years. McIntyre sold his offense like a pro, and the result was just a really solid, smartly wrestled bout that people will wrongly forget about tomorrow night when WWE starts the road to SummerSlam and Drew McIntyre's eventual rumored showdown with Randy Orton. The big money, that's the big money match of the summer right there. So we'll start the build to that tomorrow, very likely. So that's all I can say on this. I would say co-fight of the night here. It's not often I say co-fight of the night here, but between this and the eye for an eye match, Raw had the two best matches of the night, as far as I'm concerned. The other one was interpromotional, but that was on its way to being something. But then that finished. But 3.5 to 4, I think that's the correct rating for this. So, Michael Bullock, when Dolph Ziggler announced the stipulation for this, it's no wonder why you and I will forever call him Big Girl Panties, because that was exactly a Big Girl Panty move by Dolph Ziggler. But too bad, Big Girl Panties, you got yours in the end. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, you got your comeuppance. You thought you could basically find a way to really take that title from the frontline soldier of Monday Night Raw. Well, Drew McIntyre made sure that wasn't going to be the case, and I was with you too, Florio. I had faith in our champion. I mean, this is why he is, as you would say, the frontline soldier of Monday Night Raw. So I agree, 3.5 to 4. This was definitely a good match, and I'm glad that the champ got the job done. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, let's just move on.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with everything you guys have said. This was a solid WWE title match, and the outcome was never in doubt. I think we all kind of agreed that it was going to be Drew McIntyre going in. I actually don't mind that they try to stack the deck on McIntyre, but even with all that, he still found a way to get the job done. That shows the heart of the champion, and he has it, and there's really nothing more to add. So the main event was the swamp match between Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. We don't have a time. This was more of a cinematic type match, but according to a lot of the dirt sheets, according to even Wikipedia, Bray Wyatt wins the match. He beats Braun Strowman, but if you notice at the swamp, when Bray and Braun went under, look who rised from the muck. The Fiend. And I guess the big question is, What happened to Braun? Where is he?
I think I might know. I wonder if MF's little swamp friends might have gotten to him. You know what I mean?
You mean my boy the alligators?
The song that you made famous.
You're wondering you're wondering if he wanted to be an alligator?
Or I think he wanted to be with. I think he wanted to be with an alligator.
Oh boy.
I think that might have been what happened.
Well,
I think he might have gotten caught underneath all that gruck, and that's where the gators like to strike.
yeah,
It was din time for those big gators.
yeah. Well, you never know. But one thing is for sure. But I gotta say, we can do this as an open forum because this is not a match. We're gonna NA this automatically. But what about for that Alexa Bliss, that little vignette thing where how did wow. Yeah, go ahead, Florio. I hear you hooting and hollering and wooting over there. Go ahead, Florio. Get out of the system. I mean, what a playback to back in the mixed match challenge. You remember there was that. I don't know if you wanted to call it tension or flirting or chemistry between the two during that mixed match challenge, and here we go again.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna lie, my heart was definitely racing during that moment. Saying how I wish that was me. How I wish that was me, and how I wish that was my lady friend in real life. But yeah. Anywho, if I had to give this a grade, I'm actually gonna pull the trigger and give it an A+. Bray Wyatt was made for the world of cinematic wrestling. His character works so well in this environment and allows him to flex his creativity outside of the confines of the squared circle. Like John Cena at WrestleMania in that infamous Firefly Funhouse match, this was Braun Strowman's descent into his own personal hell, perpetrated by a mental master far more advanced than he or anyone else could imagine. The storytelling here, complete with the excellent callback involving Alexa Bliss and her friendship with the monster among men, was top-notch and easily ranked as the best thing Strowman has ever been a part of from that perspective. That it culminated with exactly the one thing he was clearly terrified of, the reemergence of the Fiend, was the icing on the proverbial cake. Now Strowman faces the reality of a Universal Championship defense against the force unstoppable anyone on this side of 90s WCW. We have been waiting for the Fiend to rear its head in this rivalry, and now that it has, it appears as though Wyatt is preparing to resume his role as the demonic face of Friday Night SmackDown Live. So, I don't know what else there is to say. The Fiend showed up. MF said he went over. I think we just had ourselves a championship committee moment, MF.
It is.
And I think we all know what this means. Hey, Monday Night Raw. You know what Monday Night Raw has? We got our big money match. I think we're looking towards our big money match of the summer with Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. MF, you wanted it. You're gonna get SmackDown's big money match of the summer. Braun Strowman, the Fiend Bray Wyatt, Universal Championship in the SummerSlam. Book it, Monsoon. All yours, or whoever wants it next.
Mike Bullock, do you want to put in a couple of cents here, or?
Yeah, I'll chime in. I mean, yeah, I thought this was a pretty good way. I mean, this was like we saw with the Boneyard match at WrestleMania and the Firefly Funhouse match with it being cinematic, and yeah, I mean, the Fiend basically showing up as he rides out of the swamp, and yeah, like you said, I think we are definitely getting that match at SummerSlam, the Fiend and Braun Strowman, and And you know what? I don't think we have to wait until our SummerSlam preview. I'm already calling it. I think the Fiend is going to regain his Universal title.
Amen.
I mean, it's nothing against Braun Strowman. We know how much we're happy for him to finally get that Universal title that he's been won for a long time. But I think SummerSlam is going to be the time to take the title off of him and to give it back to the Fiend. Fletch, it's yours.
I can't disagree with that. I cannot disagree with anything that you just said. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I do believe that we're gonna have a new champion, and I think it's gonna be the Fiend. I think Bray Wyatt will finally realize his dream. I think Bray Wyatt will once again be the Universal Champion, and depending on when Roman Reigns ever comes back, I think that'll be the day that we'll wait and see when if Roman's going to come after the title or how that's going to play out. But you're absolutely right, guys. I think, look, as satisfying as this was, and this was a satisfying ending, there's some people out there that says it wasn't better than that. They thought that the battle at WrestleMania was better than this. Now, to each his own. I can agree with that. I mean, there was some elements where it was a little slow and plotty, but the psychology that they brought, the cinematic format that they brought, the way that Bray Wyatt's inner twisted mind, how he manipulated Braun Strowman and also got Braun in his head by utilizing somebody who is maybe a weakness to Braun. You don't know what kind of power Alexa had on him. You know there was chemistry. You know they were definitely harking back to the Mixed Match Challenge in Season 1, where a lot of people thought that they were going to win it all. Like, they were considered the favorites to win the entire competition until Alexa went down with the injury, in which it was actually a concussion, and that ended any hope of them winning the whole thing. So they obviously played that card of Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman and utilized it perfectly in this scenario. I don't think you could ever have played that card. Now, could they? Is that a one-off? Or could we see more? Could the Fiend start messing around with Alexa? Where Braun has to be the knight in shining armor again? Where does that play? Because now you brought her in. Do you keep her in? Or is it just a one-off just as like a mind game thing? You don't know. Alexa might be pulled in this. If the Fiend wants his way, he'll drag her into this. You know anything can happen. That's one thing that I would ask. What would be the one thing that for a guy, Anthony or Mike Bullock, the one thing that drives you is the closeness of your lady friends. What if that lady friend is brought into the fire because of the Fiend? Your mentality changes. Because now you want to defend them. You have to defend their honor. No, regardless of the situation. I wonder what Braun is thinking right now. Because Bray Wyatt threw a curve. Put Alexa in Braun's conscience. Is that a mind game trick? Or is it something more sinister down the line? This title match at SummerSlam has a lot of layers that needs to be peeled. And I cannot wait to start Friday night when we do Cerebral Smack Talk. Alright, so final thoughts. This was a pretty good pay-per-view. You know, just like Impact Wrestling was really good last night, I thought they did a really good job. They delivered. SmackDown hit. I should say, I should actually say honestly and truthfully that Extreme Rules hit. This was a good event. Raw definitely had the better matches tonight. There's a lot of drama and a lot of excitement coming out of their ranks. But for SmackDown, you got something good going on your way as well. You got, more importantly, you got new tag team champions. You have a pretty much a confirmation of a Universal title match. And depending on what happens on Raw tomorrow night, pending what happens with the women's title for Raw, SmackDown Women has all the gold in WWE. Now, of course, I'm not going to say officially because we don't know if it's official or not. It might not. But SmackDown's got a lot of momentum. Raw does too. There's no doubt about it. First, Seth Rollins finally ridded himself of Rey Mysterio, we think. Obviously, there's the Dominic factor, and he's going to want to vow revenge for his father after what happened tonight. No doubts. 2, Drew McIntyre needs a new challenger. What's going to happen there? 3, MVP. MVP, is he officially the United States champion? I say yes. Bullock and Florio are saying no, not yet. I think we're going to get an official confirmation that we will have a new champion. But then what happens with everything? So it's interesting. I thought they did a good job. Solid show. Anthony, yours.
Agreed. This was definitely a solid show here. There were a couple of, Raw. Yes, Raw had the better matches, but the thing is, we had two creative blunders on our hands with the U.S. situation and, of course, the women's situation. 2 huge hooks from Monday Night Raw, both ratings ploys. So we'll have to wait and see on that. We were originally also supposed to have Jeff Hardy and Sheamus's bar fight, but they moved that to Friday night on SmackDown. So there's your big. So there's a big hook for SmackDown right there, MF, no doubt about it. And there was something else, but no, we got interesting hooks for Raw and for SmackDown. There's not really that major wow factor for NXT coming up, even though Karrion Kross and Dominic Dijakovic should be one hell of a hoss fight. But all I know is that Monday Night Raw is definitely going to be an interesting show with those 2 big hooks. The real interesting show, and I'll address it tomorrow night, of course, will be this upcoming Tuesday night on Impact Wrestling. It's the most excited I've been for one of those shows in forever and a day. And I'll get more into that tomorrow night, no doubt about that. And MF, if you did see Slammiversary, if you wanna share your thoughts on any of it, please feel free to do so. You're more than welcome to, like you did for the preview last week. So that's all I can say on that. So I definitely will have a lot to say about Impact Wrestling. I messaged Bullock and I told him some of the findings from that. So yeah, I'll have more on that. But for right now, if I had to put a number on it, I would probably say 7, maybe. Fight of the night, I would have to probably, like I said, it's a toss-up between the Eye for an Eye and McIntyre and Ziggler. Those were the co-fights of the night for me. Sasha and Asuka was on its way to being unbelievable, and then that ridiculous finish. And the Swamp match was amazing. Like I said, Bray Wyatt is a cinematic genius. That's all I can say. And the other matches were solid to good to solid to good. So Not the best show in the world, but not the worst either. Solid, but not overly spectacular. So I'll give it a solid thumbs up. Probably it's like a 7 maybe. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, put the bow on this one, and then we'll set up for our content for the week.
Yeah, I'll give it if I was giving it a rating, I'd give it a 7 out of 10 as well. I mean, the standout fight was obviously the WWE title match. I mean, yeah, the only blemishes was, I mean, especially with that Asuka and Sasha Banks match, that was on its way to something good until that bogus finish. So, yeah, all in all, I mean, this was a good show. Not the greatest, but it was a good show. So, there's nothing more to say. Fletch, wrap it up and set the table for what's coming up.
All right, so with that said, we're going to do this. Tomorrow night, as always, is Ridiculously Raw with Anthony Florio. We are going to cover Monday Night Raw. And yes, we will get into Slammiversary. Anthony, I will join you because I did get to see some of the event. Not all, but I did get to see some of it. And I did get some of the results. So I'll give you my thoughts on that. Tuesday night, a very special edition of Strictly Sports. Yeah, we got a Strictly Sports show coming up, and we're going to be previewing the Major League Baseball season. That's right, the sprint to October, as we're going to call this. 60 games, as of course the dreaded virus has crippled the sports landscape throughout the year, but Major League Baseball were able to get their job done. They were able to do their due diligence. We do have a baseball season, 60-game sprint, and then the playoffs will begin traditionally in October. And yeah, we're going to have a regular playoff format. So the road to the World Series will begin on Thursday with the New York Yankees versus the defending World Series champion Washington Nationals, as the pennant will go up at Nationals Park, unfortunately with no fans. That's actually the Debbie Downer on the whole thing, but you know, we got to take it one thing at a time. At least baseball's back, people. I mean, that's the real big thing, is that we got baseball back. So I'm excited for it as always. And then Wednesday Night Mayhem. We got an off day on Thursday. Friday, Cerebral Smack Talk. We got a whole week's worth of content, and guys, we cannot wait to entertain you guys as always. So baseball back, Strictly Sports, guys. We're right around the corner where Strictly Sports will be coming back on a regular weekly format. We're almost there, guys. Just hang tight, just a little bit more. We're almost there. So, with that said, we'll see you tomorrow night. For Anthony Floyo, for Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher. You know the routine. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom, share with all your friends on all the social media platforms. And until tomorrow night, so long, everybody.